Do you know what the most viewed content on Instagram is? Welcome to Velocity Podcast. Today we are diving into Instagram stories. Yes, you heard that right. Stories are the most viewed content on Instagram. We're going to talk about why that is, the importance of story essentially, what the best times to post, and a whole lot more in this episode. So thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe on Spotify. That would be very amazing, very helpful. And even if you leave a review, that'd be even better. All right, so let's talk about your own scrolling habits. When I open Instagram, what do I hit first? Do I scroll up or do I scroll sideways essentially? Stories are amazing because as soon as you pop into the app, they're right on the top. And like the realtors say, location, location, location. Location is everything. So you're there, you open it. The other cool thing is it's always changing because whoever updates gets like the first notch on the stories. So you click and you scroll through. And why are they so effective? Not only because of the location, but because they go right into the next story. It doesn't stop. It doesn't kick you out. You don't have to do anything. It's just like boom, 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 content, 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 and usually really different content because no one's really doing the same story over and over. That's the cool thing about stories. It's usually the least thought out content that gets the most views. So I think that's hilarious and I love that. All right, so you pop onto Instagram, you look at the top of your screen, you see your friends, you click, and then you're stuck in this vortex. You're stuck scrolling in the loop. All right. One amazing thing about stories is that it naturally kicks in FOMO, fear of missing out. Why? Because they're 24-hour stories. It's temporary. So I know if I miss my favorite actor or my favorite singer's post, I might not see it ever again. And I want to make sure I'm privy to that information. So there's something naturally in me that's like, it's time sensitive. I have to watch. And that's the beauty of stories. It's effective for promoting limited time offers, flash sales, other events. You can get immediate engagement. So when you have polls, like I did a poll about olives the other day, surprisingly, a lot of people like olives. I think they're the worst thing ever created, but that's fine. So people interacted with that. You know, that sliding scale, like, oh, do you like to see the sun in January or whatever? Like you just slide the scales. It's very, very interactive. Another reason they work is because they're very authentic. I kind of touched on this a little earlier. Why are they so authentic? When it's temporary, we don't feel the need to put in as much thought and effort into it. So for instance, this podcast, I have my microphone, I have my light, I put thought into it. I kind of planned out like a loose script, and I'm never doing that for stories. Like I'm doing a one take. I'll pop on and be like, hey guys, this is happening. Or, oh, check out this burrito place. It's so delicious. I eat here for lunch all the time. Very little thought to my stories, but they're the ones that are getting the more views, which actually makes me say, maybe I should put a little more thought into them, but they're just really authentic, like snapshots of my life, of my day to day. Another reason is because it's cool behind the scenes content. So I wouldn't do a post, like an actual post or an actual reel of me being like, I'm hungry. I'm going to go to the burrito place right down the street, because it's not great content. It doesn't really necessarily help my brand. But doing that on stories when I just want to connect to my audience as like a regular person who eats lunch and works downtown, I want to make that connection. So that behind the scenes feel is amazing when it comes to stories. All right, let's talk about maximizing stories. How do you maximize stories? Simple. It's consistency. I know you're not going to want to hear that. I say that word way too much, but it's true. Stories are amazing because it continues to update. So think about, again, open your own app. Who do you see? The person who most recently updated their stories. So I might do something like in the morning, take a picture of my coffee, or just say driving to work, or just like, hey, I have such a busy day. Here's a shot of my calendar. Something to get in front of people right away, because I want to be on the front. Like I want to be within the first like 3 or 4 stories. And then a couple hours later, maybe around lunchtime, I'll try and do another one. At the end of the day, I'll try and do another one. And then in the evening, just maybe one quick one. Why? Because I'm constantly being refreshed. I'm constantly being put first in the pack. Because if I only post in the morning, and as more people post, I get pushed to the side, of course, because it's all about timing. So you want to consistently post. And I try really hard to not share too many things all at once. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to share that after, like, because I've already, jumped on a story twice and it's like 9:01 and 9:03. And I want I want to always have a reason to go back to the front. So that's one way to maximize. The thing about stories, first of all, not only do statistics tell us we're always watching, if you look at your scrolling habits, if you look at people around you, they're doing the same thing. Now, when it comes to stories, what should you be posting? So we kind of talked about like FOMO, and like you can do like flash sales and things like that are timely like that, and behind the scenes content. But don't forget to sell in stories. And here's why I like using stories as a hard sell, because you can actually link to your website. So in Instagram, as you know, you can't link on a normal post. Like you might be able to copy your URL. That goes against best practice because you can't even highlight anything. Like no one's going to that link. But on stories, they can. So sometimes I'll do like a hard sell, like, hey, if you want social media management, I'm starting it this month. Here you go. Click on this link to learn more information. And people do click because it's easy. No one's copying, pasting. No one's going out of their way to do this. So that quick, easy link Instagram has been very, very successful. So even for me, like when it's like shop now, it's easy to press the shop now button rather than being like www.da-da-da-da-da, right? Because no one's remembering the long URLs. So using that link is very, very effective. And also when it comes to Meta, they're not exactly encouraging people to go outside the Meta universe. They want everyone obviously scrolling within Facebook or within Instagram. This seems to be the only exception where they kind of encourage it. So take advantage for actual hard sells. And a lot of people don't. I see a lot of people doing the behind the scenes or like welcome to my authentic life, and that's totally fine. But don't forget that link button is a very, very powerful tool. All right, stories are amazing for so many reasons. I love watching them. Again, I know for my own personal habits, it is the most viewed content because it's always refreshing, always new, and you get stuck in that loop. So make sure you add it to your social media strategy. It's very important. One cool thing about stories is on the business suite, you can actually schedule them. So it makes it really easy because like maybe on the weekend, maybe in the evening, you don't want to be on Instagram and maybe you're taking like a break or something. This is a way to kind of avoid it. You can actually start scheduling, and it's kind of a new-ish feature. I remember when they put it on, I was like really happy about that. So that's just something easy you can do. Stories are probably one of the most accessible types of social media, and again, the most viewed social media. So make sure you're adding that into your social media strategy. Well, I hope you like this episode of Velocity Podcast. I'm trying to make it very practical and things you can literally listen and do as soon as the podcast shuts off. So again, if you leave me a review, that'd be amazing. Share, let people know about it.